This meeting is being recorded by the Valley Health Regional Collaborative. If any other persons are present or doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. No, meeting called to order at 8:31, and we'll do a roll call of members. Bruce, can you say aye? You might not be able to unmute. Tim, can you say that you're here?
I'm here, thank you.
Garrett?
Garrett Simonson representing Shutesbury.
Mary? That's okay. I'm here. Ryan?
Ryan Paxton, Montague.
And John? John, can you just unmute and say you're here, or you're unmuted? Can you just?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, that's good. So the only one not present is Noreen, but we have Garrett instead. Perfect.
I'm here. I'm here. Bruce
Oh,
Bennett's here.
great. Thanks, Bruce.
I figured out how to get it unmuted.
That's okay. So public comment, no discussion or comments will be entertained unless requested upon by the chairperson or board of the committee. For new business, do we want to approve the meeting minutes? Did anybody get a chance to read them?
Do we know if, I can't remember if it was John or I myself as well offered some corrections to the previous minutes that we didn't approve. Were they actually looked at and was anything done?
Yes, she redid all of the minutes, added a lot more detail to them, and we sent them out, I think, on Monday. And then the ones from last month too. Does anybody want to make a motion to accept, or should we pass on this?
Well, I know on the last one that you did, it's not a big deal. It's just you left the H out in Sarah's name at one point.
Oh, okay.
On the bottom. I can point it out to you at some point.
Okay.
We haven't accepted the meeting minutes that were revised from January, is what you're saying, Megan?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, I don't have those right in front of me, but I would make a motion that we accept the February minutes.
December and February. Oh, it's actually December
No,
and February.
Right, it's right, exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's my fault. I'll second that. All in favor of accepting the February minutes?
Bruce Bennett, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
I wasn't present, so I'll abstain.
John Hillman, aye.
Ryan, I.
Okay. I think motion carries. So we'll do an update by me for nurses activities. Robin hosted one last ditch effort on a flu clinic. She held it at my office in Greenfield. She just put up signs all over town. She emailed people. She put it on, she put it in the newspaper. She put it on the radio. We got 3 people who came, which still was very surprising for this late in the season. So we're excited that she made that last ditch effort. And we sent out letters to all the schools to remind them about mandatory reporting, because we know that there's been clusters of norovirus and flu in the schools, but nobody has reported them to us. So we sent out an informational sheet with the Mass General Law and just reminded school nurses that they need to call and report. I know in Greenfield, we didn't get any response. Deerfield and Sunderland didn't give any response. I don't know about Montague. Sarah is doing a winter blues and safety class and she's working on getting a menstrual equity paper published. She's completed it, she's submitted it. She also is going to be presenting at the MAPHN conference that we're going to in May. And she applied to the American Nurses Association to get her poster presented there. If she does go there, she'll be traveling to DC to present the paper. So we're really impressed with all the work that she's doing.
And Megan, she's also going to attend NACHO, the NACHO Summit, right?
Yes, she is going to that. That is the end of April. And she'll give a little report on what she learned back to our collaborative at the end. And Anne has been
What
covering.
was- Megan, what was the thing in May you were talking about?
It's the Massachusetts Public Health Nurses Association meeting. So it's all the public health nurses across Massachusetts. We get together, we learn what's going on. The head of the DPH is usually there. Sam Wong is usually there. Catherine, who is she's the nurse leader for the Mass Public Health Nurses. So it's a really good event. We usually learn a lot. Let's see. Anne she's been covering for Cindy in Deerfield on Wednesday. So she's been doing office hours there in addition to her Sunderland office hours. She's been going to the senior center, food pantries. She's been working, going to, I can't remember the name of it. She told me it's a mom and baby type group where they give a bunch of resources and things like that. It's an online information sharing group. And then everybody's been doing their infection control and like the Maven and things like that. So the next thing, sorry, this is not a great report on this month. Inspector interviews have taken place, and we offered the position to a man named Corey Hartman, and he has accepted and should be starting on the 17th. Ryan and I were on the interview committee. We interviewed, I don't know, maybe 15 people, if I had to guess, maybe less, or went through 15 applications, I should say. We didn't interview all of them, but he has ServSafe experience. He's also held a lot of managerial positions. No inspectional services experience, but he seems really gung-ho to learn everything that he possibly can. He also he was a former tattoo artist, so he does know the body art regulations. But he just seems like he's had a lot of leadership experience, and he would be great to be able to just go out and work on his own. I think he's like a motivated guy. Any questions about him?
Could you send us a copy of his resume, Megan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just email it to us.
Yep, definitely.
And when is he gonna start?
Monday.
Okay, does he need a training period?
Yes, he definitely does. So the first thing we're going to get him to do is the ServSafe Manager, then the Tier 1 food training classes online. After he does that, we'll have him do Foundations of Public Health Services. We've already signed him up with his personal email to the housing courses and the Tier 2 food courses through the state. There is a long waiting list for that, but at least his name is out there now. And then we're just the pool operator, he'll be able to do that here. But I think within about 2 weeks or so, from his start date, we should be able to get him out on some housing inspections to shadow us. Maybe 3 weeks from then, he'll be able to go out and do them on his own.
What certifications did he come in with?
Just the ServSafe Manager, but it's expired, so he's going to have to redo that one. But that's easy to get. It's a 2-day course. No one that we had interviewed had any experience or when it comes to inspectional services, nobody who applied.
So I noticed in the minutes, that there's a program started at GCC.
Yes.
Can
So
you just discuss,
yeah, so there is a program. It's not through GCC though. I thought it was, but it's just through community colleges. Greenfield hasn't started theirs yet, but there is a training program through the Massachusetts Health Boards where they are sending students to local health departments to learn how to be inspectors. They're shadowing, they're paying the students a rate that's coming out of the the Mass Association of Health Boards, not us. Or I'm sorry, MHOA, Mass Association.
Massachusetts Health
Yes,
Officers
thank you.
Association.
Sorry. It's MHOA that's supporting this program. So in Greenfield, we actually have the first student in the state coming. She should be here within a month or so. I have sorry. I'm hoping that we can eventually offer her a position once she gets trained up. She'll be going through the calendar year. So in December, she will be done with school, done with this program, and either we can hire her in Greenfield if we have an open spot, or if any of the other towns are looking, you might consider hiring her because she will be fully trained by the time she's done.
But is there any classroom work, or is it just really there?
She's in school for public health. She's getting her bachelor's in public health.
No, but this program you're talking about, it's really just individuals hooking up with boards of health departments and following inspectors and trying to learn that. Is that, it's not, there's not coursework or there all that stuff. I'm just trying to understand that.
Yeah, so the only coursework is through what we would normally put our inspectors through. So she would take ServSafe Manager, she'd take the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 housing courses through the state. She would take the certified pool officer program. So the college coursework is just what she's normally getting for her bachelor's in public health. But the coursework that we're going to assign her is what we would normally give an inspector, so that she would be able to be a certified not certified inspector, but be able to be qualified to do all of those things. Like she'll take the soil evaluator course if she can get in, things like that. Any other questions on that program?
I would just like to add that during the interview process, it became very clear how much of a difficult time everybody's having trying to hire for this position. So even though this person's not coming in with any certificates, we felt very strongly about this candidate compared to the entire applicant pool. We really got a lot of folks that just were not the right, I would say, personality or skill set to be able to learn to be an effective health inspector. As we kind of saw with some of the other hires or interviews that we had, sometimes just being the right type of person to be able to be an inspector and interact with the businesses and kind of have a good sense of how regulations should interact with the private sector. I think sometimes that's more important because, again, like there's all these training resources set up to bring people up to speed in the field. So I felt really good about the candidate that we ended up finding.
Is he a local person?
He lives local. I'm not sure as though he's lived here his entire life, but he's certainly worked in Greenfield and Franklin County for many years.
Okay, so he is familiar with the area.
Yeah, he worked at Kennemetal right next door to our office at one point.
Okay.
And he managed food manufacturing, which can be more in-depth really than food establishments deal with. So that can be helpful just for understanding process.
Okay, good. I hope he's a personable guy that gets along with the clients that he's going to be dealing with.
I think he will. He seemed really talkative during the interview, really reasonable.
Okay, good.
So the next is the Massachusetts Association of Health Board Conference. So on one of my emails, I had wrote that it was the 16th, I think, of April. It is actually 4/26. It's a Saturday. And if any of your Board of Health members, or if you guys want to go, the VHRC can pay for it. It's an all-day course at the Hotel Northampton, and it's from the MAHB. They just go over all different topics like Title V's, or last year it was green burials. I find it really informational or educational. I'm gonna go this year. I think who else was going to go?
So Megan,
You have a
I-
conflict that day.
yeah, wanted to make sure if someone else is interested and we can transfer the slot, or if you
Yeah.
haven't paid yet.
That's okay. They'll let me cancel it. It's not a big deal.
Sorry about that. I
No worries.
just found out.
No worries at all.
But you only have 5 filled so far of the tenants. Something like-
4 filled. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it getting filled up. That's not gonna
Oh,
happen.
okay, so if I can go, I'm gonna go. I just haven't signed up just because I'm not sure if I'll be able to, so.
Okay, and if you
that's
do
fine.
decide to sign up, don't pay for it on your own. There's a choice on the thing that says, bill my SSA or something like that. Choose that option.
Right, I looked at all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, great. The next is Foundation of Public Health Services survey. I am close to being done, John, I don't have any of the budget information from Leverett yet. It's due in the next less than 2 weeks. So if you could get that to me as soon as possible, that would be awesome.
Do I know what you're looking? I didn't know I was supposed to give you anything.
Oh, okay. I sent a couple emails.
Oh, I missed it.
That's okay. I'll send you another email today, so
Okay.
just be on the lookout for it.
Sure.
And Bruce is on vacation, but when he gets back, he's going to give me one more little piece of information that I was looking for, and then I'll be done with Sunderland, and I think everybody else is done.
Can you remind me, Megan, what that is?
Yeah, I think it was like what you spend on paper and things like that. Just the office supplies. and-
Okay, miscellaneous supplies?
Yeah, it was things like that. And if your Board of Health gets a stipend, that thing. But I'll send you an email too, just to remind you of the exact little things. But it was only a couple little.
Okay, and I'll
ones.
get that back to you.
All right, sounds great. And I think that is it. Any old business or any other topics that we needed to talk about today?
Can we talk about federal, things are being affected on a federal level?
Yes.
I don't really know much.
No, I mean, we also don't know very much. We did get an email about a week ago, pretty much just saying that they're going to keep us updated, that we don't know what's going to happen, that the funding for us should still be earmarked for us in Massachusetts. So it sounds like they're still going to cover us through fiscal year 25. But really, they're just still saying we don't.
And when
really
you
know.
say they, who are you referring to?
This came from the Department of Public Health.
So in general, the Department of Public Health, about 50% of its budget comes from federal funding. It seems like they're trying to make it a priority to keep the shared service agreements funded, particularly because of the legislation that supports it in Massachusetts. I think another thing to consider beyond just federal funding, because this will also impact DEP, is the EPA stuff that came out yesterday. There's a big push for deregulation at the EPA on the federal level, and a lot of the stuff that we enforce does come from like the Clean Air Act or the Clean Water Act. In addition to that, there was also a decision by the Supreme Court last year. It was the Chevron decision, which essentially took away administrations on the federal level's ability to regulate beyond what is legislated. So typically federal agencies have, made these regulations in-house, like similarly to how CMRs are made by DPH or DEP. And that's kind of called into question a lot of their authority to do that. So the landscape from the top down could change quite a bit in terms of environmental health regulations. And I think it'll be interesting to see which ones in Massachusetts are well supported from our CMRs, because again, Massachusetts does have kind of duplication of a lot of these efforts, but that's probably the biggest thing to think about other than the uncertainty of funding from the state.
Anything else? Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Bruce Bennett, aye.
Tim Hilchi, aye.
John Hillman, yes.
Garrett Simonson, yes.
Ryan, yes.
Megan, yes. Okay. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.